T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Well, we are off. It's a brand new week, and things are exciting. I'm going to tell you why in a second. We're going to have fun with our dog, Scruffy, coming up here right away. It is the RP Show. We are streaming on Game Plus, YouTube, as well as the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel. We're going to air in Las Vegas, the site of the Stanley Cup final, coming up in hour 2. Our good and longtime friend, Jock Wilson, will be joining us from QR, Calgary, to talk Stanley Cup final, CFL, probably a little NFL, whatever's popping with Calgary sports and sports everywhere. And yeah, we're going to have fun, and we're going to play a little game. We're going to play a little game after the first break, so don't get too excited, Mitch. I know you can handle it. How's your weekend, bro? How are you?
It was good. How was your back in Saskatchewan weekend?
It was my second weekend back in Sask, but it was good. I did Sask things. I was out at the lake. I visited with family. My baseball team was on the road. I see yours was at home, so you were at the ballpark, huh?
Yep, I was at the ballpark. Big win for the Red Sox yesterday. Nice crowd yesterday, so all was good. And we avoided the rain.
Let's get down to business. This ain't the Weather Channel. Mitch, the Stanley Cup final is raging. I don't know. Well, I know where you are. And they're talking hockey there, too. They're talking hockey where I'm at. And it's a big – this what a series, man. Our good friend, Sweet Annie O.D., the Ducks podcaster out of Southern California. I don't know if you follow her or not. She's great. And she just put a thing on her Instagram story. She goes, where are the losers that say the ratings are going to be down and this series is going to suck? Because it's been amazing. And for those not paying attention, Vegas is up 2-1 going into Game 4 Tuesday. Double overtime win Saturday night. What'd you think of the game and all the rest?
Unreal. I don't know what it was like. I know you were at Pump Jacks by the looks of it, watching the game on Saturday. As I put down on Twitter, if you walked away from the television when it was 4-0 to go to the can or go to the fridge or whatever, and you were gone for 3 or 4 minutes and you came back, your jaw must have hit the floor when you saw the score. What a comeback by the Carolina Hurricanes, and I don't think anyone saw that coming. I don't even think Chris Cuthbert and Craig Simpson saw that coming.
4-0 Vegas were up.
Yeah.
Carolina came back and tied it 4-4, and then they went to over. It's you couldn't turn it off, man.
No, you couldn't turn it off. And as I said, like if Mitch Marner scores on that penalty shot, I think the majority of North Americans are turning off that game and saying, well, what am I going to do with the rest of my Saturday night? But Carolina comes back. The goal was a terrible goal. But how many times do we see that in overtime where it's not a pretty passing play? Frederik Andersen did not look good. But I think Frederik Andersen got hurt on that second goal that was waved off because he took that Sam Bennett-like hit to the head. And I don't think Freddie Andersen was ever the same after that. And I don't know if anybody ever brought that up in the postgame, but I just wonder where his head is at, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. That goal was eerily similar to the overtime goal in the Memorial Cup semifinal that we lost on in 2001, Regina Pats Val-d'Or. I'm assuming you were there.
Thanks for bringing that up, Rod.
Right, it's like you basically, well, what, dude? It's the most painful loss I've ever had. Don't worry about me. So that's a tough way to lose. And let me just say this, because I wanted the little game that we're going to play, Mitch, just I don't want to scare you, is word association. It's coming up. But I just get the sense that the hockey gods are actually on Vegas's side based on that goal and a variety of other things. Would you agree or disagree?
Well, I don't know. When you take a look at the goals that Vegas has scored that have been disallowed, and I thought both goals on Saturday night was the right call. I'm still not sure about the one in Game 2, but whatever. That's water under the bridge. But yeah, I would say that Vegas has certainly gotten a majority of the breaks. And
that's what it would be. Hockey gods.
I'll say this too, and I'll say this, and I put this out on Twitter on Saturday too. Can we just talk about Braden McNabb for a second? Like, I think all of us in Saskatchewan knew that kid was going to play because he's Sasky tough. But you took, what, an 87-mile-an-hour puck to the face, and 48 hours later, you're back out on the ice, and in 5 days, we're going to see a bunch of guys rolling around on grass when they get touched? Like, tell me again how hockey players aren't tough, Rod.
None of that. I'm like, how is this a thing? How are we surprised that he's playing? I'm with you. I'm the exact. And I do want to get into the Marner stuff. Like, it's just sad at this point. I saw a clip just posted this morning from Kelly McCrimmon last week saying at some point Toronto needs to get over Mitch Marner leaving. At some point, you need to get over it. The stuff that's being said about him, and why couldn't he do this in Toronto? Toronto is the problem, okay? Not the players, the culture, all the rest. But before we break, because we're going to break here right away, I'm just checking my timer here. When I wear my glasses, I get this rank glare. You know that I hit up that garage sale on the weekend.
Yeah.
And these were minis. Yeah, they didn't look like regulation size helmets to you, did they? Because they're minis. Just so you know, they're minis.
When I first looked at it, I thought they were. And then I wondered, well, why is somebody giving away all these, like, regulation-style helmets? And then I took a second look at it and went, oh, wait a minute. These aren't Dairy Queen Sunday Bowls from back in the 80s. These are mini helmets. Yep.
But they're close to the Bulls. And is my good friend Darian Engelhart, the equipment manager of the Orlando Solar Bears of the East Coast Hockey League. He summers in Canada like most hockey people. And he wrote me and he goes, hey, my parents are having a garage sale if you want to come by. And I happen to be in the area. So what I'm going to do, Mitch, of course, it's missing the rider helmet. And it's not like he kept it. Somebody came along and said, I don't want the whole set. I just want to buy the rider helmet. So they gave it to
Of course
the guy.
that's
so I
the
got,
case. Of course, because, you wouldn't want the whole thing.
No, but I do because I'm a CFL guy. So listen, word association. First name that comes to mind when you see this.
Warren Moon.
Okay. Mine, the Gears. It's gonna tell you when we play this, because I got all the or almost all the teams here. It's gonna tell you what your vintage is as a fan. You just outed yourself as an early 80s CFL fan. Would I be right in saying that? That's when you cut your teeth, really got into it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and with me, Gears. When did he make his mark? The 90s, really. So I got all the teams. So we're going to talk about week one. And I want everybody to play along. Edmonton fans up there, would you see that? Or CFL fans, when you see this, who do you think of? Ricky Ray. I could see some people saying Ricky Ray. I could see some people saying John Ryan. The Ryan family. Right. I figured that would get you. We'll be right back. It's the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lady Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lady Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, lots going on a Monday. It's the RP Show. We're on the Game Plus YouTube channel. We are streaming on our own. We're on WQVZ. All the rest is going on. So much going on. Scruffy is with me. Jock Wilson coming up in hour 2. From the audience, Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in. He says, Detroit Red Wings are a mess. Larkin wants out. Yeah, he's given a list of teams, Minnesota, Florida, or Vegas. That's their problem. I appreciate it. There's a lot of things going on. We can talk about all those. We will as the morning goes along, but we talked about the Stanley Cup final. Do you think Vegas, you picked Carolina to win, did you? Yeah, you said you're cheering for them and you picked them to win. You still think that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's fine.
I think Carolina will win game 4 by hook or by crook because it's been that close. And really, Roddy, when you think about it, somebody could be up 3-0 in this series with the overtime we've had.
Oh, very good point. Very good point. So yeah, we're talking also about the Canadian Football League. That's why a lot of people showed up here today. Week 1, great games. Thursday night. Oh, Scruffy and I both went 2-1. You were a coin flip basically from going 3-0. You had Hamilton to win, but they lost in overtime to Montreal 30-27. I picked the Owls. You picked the Bombers to win in Calgary Friday, and they did 30-28 on a walk-off field goal. And we both picked the Edmonton Elks to win at Ottawa, and they did. It was 29-21 Elks Saturday night in Ottawa, and that score flattered Ottawa. But before we go any further, I hit a garage sale on the weekend, scooped a major score, a bunch of CFL mini helmets. I'm going to play word association with Mitch. Let's do it again. Edmonton Eskimos, word association. Who do you think of when you see this?
Warren Moon.
For me, it's the Gears. The Hamilton Tiger Cats. What do you think of?
Rocky DiPietro.
Danny Mac for me, baby. How about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? Vintage.
Ooh, with that helmet.
Yeah.
Milt Stiegel.
For me, Dave Ritchie. He's a warrior. How about this one? The Calgary Stampeders, the Mighty Horsemen.
Dave Dickinson.
Doug Flutie here. The BC Lions.
With that helmet, Louis Pasaglia.
For me, also Doug Flutie. Don't at me. It's what popped into my head. And then this one.
Pinball.
The Toronto Argonauts. Yes, pinball. This is my set. I do have another Argo one. Who do you think of when you see this?
Pinball.
Yeah, me too. Pinball. one that also jumped into my head was Bashir Livingston for some
I thought
really
you'd say
weird
Doug Flutie.
season.
I can't believe you didn't say Doug Flutie.
I should have said Doug Flutie. Yeah. Bomber Boy writes in and says, Troy Westwood. I mean, there's really no wrong answer for this.
No.
Ryan in upstate New York says, good day, Rod Squad. Hope everyone had a great weekend. That's from upstate New York. Roy DeWalt. There's some Roy DeWalt. Yes, of course, for the BC Lions. Another vote for Dave Dickinson. So, yeah, it's a score from this garage sale that I hit this weekend.
Where's your Alouettes one?
There wasn't one.
Oh, I thought there was.
No.
Oh.
So Ricky Ray. Which team, Bomber Boy? Which Ricky Ray? Edmonton or Toronto? I mean, there's that. And speaking of, Scott in Vancouver says Ricky Foggy. Oh, there's some buttes coming. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says usually go with Alan Pitts. To be honest, what I love about that is a lot of these logos, Mitch, haven't changed since like the flipping 60s and 70s, man.
No,
I do love that.
Yep,
I love that.
I do too.
I love that.
I don't mind like retro logos. Like we know like what the Ryder logo looks like now, but of course I love the retro S. I don't mind like when a team puts a secondary logo out there, but yeah, for the most part, that thing, we talk about the CFL needing to change. One thing they don't need to change is the logos.
And I hope they don't. Yeah, for sure. Vintage Sasko writes in, formerly known as Fake Gator, writes in 902-518-3033, says, hi, Uncle Rodney. Deplorable Argo helmet. Dwayne Screw Vowels Demetrician. Signed Vintage Sasko. This reminds him of Dwayne Demetrician. Okay, we'll get serious here other than to say, I'll tell you a story. Remember when the Riders and the teams used to practice on the grass field beside Taylor Field? You remember that very well. I remember one time the Argos were having their walkthrough the day before the game, and Demetrician walks out carrying his helmet like this. The legendary Pete Martin was standing against the guy, having a dart. And Pete, like Captain Argo, the color commentator for the Argos, head of their alumni, great Argo linebacker, he looks at Demo and goes, I could cover you. His demo camp. Pete was so cool. Okay. So from the audience, I'm sorry, I got to take my glasses. They're too much of I can't read the dang comments from the viewers here. And everybody's writing in with their name association. I knew it would be fun. Utah.
By the way, is that a homage to Danny Barrett today with the Texans top?
It's a homage to I had it in the closet and put it on.
Okay,
what
just asking. Just
yeah.
asking.
Utah Darren says, quick CFL question. Why have 3 buys on opening weekend? Now 3 teams lose a bye during the season when it most likely would be needed. There's 3 more games only this week and 3 teams off. I mean, I don't really understand why that went. I'll say this before we go any further, because at some point people are going to bring up the woeful attendance. It's the elephant in the room. And people are writing in here about the fantasy not working, and I really only want to talk about the games. You have intimated the last 2 Saturdays in your column at rodpeterson.com that it has to do with the World Cup, that we have 3 games only. Is that what it is?
Well, that's what people are saying. I heard a story on the weekend. I'm not going to repeat it. I don't know if it's true or not, but I wouldn't doubt it. And I can maybe send you an email later as to what that is, but it might explain why the Riders did not play this Saturday.
I have no idea what it is. Listen, I don't know. I'm in a tough spot here. I'm trying to be positive, and I don't want to look under the hood because guess what? CFL don't want you looking under the hood. Okay? So I'm not, and by the way, they're not the only league. They don't want you looking under the hood. It is what it is. Can we enjoy the games? From the fun question here for a comment from AJ Miller. AJ Miller writes in and says, Kevin Glenn for all of them. That's a pretty good thing to be known for.
That.
The guy that played for every team in the league, and the only guy that played for every team in the league. That's a hell of a distinction.
You should have said that you got those helmets from him.
Well, why lie? Why not say I got him at a garage sale for $130?
Can you imagine the people that just would have bought that hook, line, and sinker? Ran into Kevin Gwynn. He gave me some stuff.
Oh, probably they would believe it. Yeah. Carlos in Indianapolis says, unless I missed it, there were no World Cup games this weekend. I don't know, and I don't care. We had 3 games, and I'm not getting mired in this anymore.
Well, Carlos, to answer your question, yeah, there were a bunch of World Cup games, but they were friendlies because the actual tournament starts on Thursday.
Wayne in Victoria, BC writes that he says, that's unfortunate you couldn't get a mini rider's helmet. I have to say that all the games this weekend were very good. Okay, so thank you, Wayne, for getting us on track on that. I'll go down to Mosaic Stadium. I'll buy a little Rider mini helmet.
Well, I was going to say, do you want me to stop off at Co-op for you and get you a helmet or Giant Tiger or Walmart?
This is the weirdest thing, this collection here from Darian Engelhart. There's no Rider helmet, and there's 2 Argo helmets, no Montreal helmet. So I'm like, I'll go buy a can of spray paint. I'll pick that up at the Co-op as well, and I'll spray it silver. And I'll make a Montreal helmet. And as far as the Ottawa one goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Let's just pretend this is the year that one of the years they weren't in the league. But here's one for you, just for fun. We all said these games were all largely good. I didn't watch as much of the Edmonton-Ottawa game. It was a downpour there. Death, Taxes, and Fajardo winning. You and I both picked Edmonton to win. They did. I was sitting at Pump Jacks, as you said. They had the hockey on the big screen, the Stanley Cup Final Game 3, the CFL game next to it, and my eyes were entrained largely on the hockey game, but it looked like Edmonton never not had control of that. And why did you pick Edmonton? Because they've been crappy, too, forever. What made you confident they would win?
Well, Roddy, who's Ottawa's starting quarterback?
Jake Mayer.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, is it
Cody
that
Fajardo
simple?
Against Jake Mayer. That's easy money, maybe.
Yeah, but there's 24 guys on the field. I guess. I guess you're right. But I mean, you are way, I don't bet at all. You do. And
that Edmonton-Ottawa game, I made some nice coin on that. Thanks to Moneyline. Thanks to Justin Rankin. Justin Rankin, I'll tell you what, if you didn't know who that kid was last year, you're going to this year.
Well,
he's what's going to maybe him and Cody, it might be what puts Edmonton into the playoffs this year.
He's that. Would I be correct in calling him a scat back? He's the scat back for the Elkamos. Pretty much can do anything. Somebody said on the weekend, and they weren't wrong, why is Justin Rankin not in the top 50 from TSN? And I'm like,
I think he wasn't he?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't
thought
look
he was.
past the top 5.
Don't quote me on that. I thought he was. But he was lower down. But don't quote me on that.
Regarding the schedule, Vancouver, Eric writes in, he says, it is what it is. That's exactly right. It is what it is. But I mean, if they were still printing newspapers, I would say I would line my bird cage with the top 50 list from TSN. Nothing against the guys that put it together. It's just a list. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a belly button. Most stink, whatever. And I think Davis Alexander is the best quarterback in the CFL. Anyone even the top 5 players.
See, and I don't think he's the top quarterback in the league, but he's top 2. And you talk about the list. You know what? It doesn't matter, Rod, if it's a list of CFL players or NHL players or whatever. I could put down 50 guys. You could put down 50 guys. Producer Corey could. We could get, other people to do it. The lists aren't going to be the same. The top 5 might be close. Right. And I put in my column Saturday who I think my top 10 guys would be. You probably would go, no. Others would go, yeah, okay, but I wouldn't put him there. Stuff like that. What's interesting, and sort of gets off base, I saw a guy put out on Twitter this weekend, who is the most overrated player in the history of the NHL? And the answers were just so many of them.
You know what name just popped in my, did Sean Avery's name come up?
No. Not that I saw.
Okay. Who were some of the names?
It was funny because some people were saying Sid. Because Evgeny Malkin should get more of the credit than what Sidney Crosby has gotten. I'm like, what?
He's got 3 Stanley Cups.
Some people said Patrick Marleau. Some people, like Pavel Datsyuk. It was like, okay.
Okay, well, so people... See, thank you. You just zeroed in on why I spent 0 time on these lists and questions. And just so y'all know, because I have a diploma in this type of thing, like human behavior, I just put on social media yesterday on my recovery accounts, what's the hardest addiction to quit or to recover from? And all of a sudden that struck all these fights. I didn't mean to start a fight. Okay, can we have a debate? And by the way, well, hang on. Janice and I agree it's humans. Being addicted to certain humans is the hardest addiction to break. Forget booze, meth, heroin, gambling, video games, addiction to humans. But I'm just saying, you can't even talk about anything anymore without everybody fighting.
No, you can't. As I said, I could put something down and somebody would come right at me and like,
We'll be right back. Getting her going on a Monday, live from the Golden Ticket Sports Center here on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean Brody and the Reckloss teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
2 of Canada's biggest country acts. 1 stage, 1 unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Welcome back. We have some exciting things going on. We are streaming on the Game Plus YouTube channel today, which is new for us. We're going to Silver State Sports in Nevada next hour. I understand we may be making our way back to Game Plus TV. I don't know. What I know is I'm tired of answering the questions around this province, and I know Scruffy is too. All we know is you're here, you found us, and let's just enjoy. And by the way, Scruffy is so great because I didn't think you were going to bring up this overrated player thing. Scruffy's just right for the party. Because now everybody's writing in with the most overrated players. And some guy just said, well, Vancouver Eric says Elias Pedersen, most overrated NHL player. Ted Ferguson writes that he says the most overrated player that comes to mind is Nail Yakupov. Mitch, if you look up overrated in the dictionary, I think you see Nail Yakupov beside. Like, he's so overrated. He's not part of this.
Maybe him and Patrick Steffen together and Alexander Dag.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah, those guys aside, obviously they're very overrated. RC writes and he says, hi, we've got a bunch of new viewers here on the new channels. I mean, funny how that works. RC says, hi, Rod. Go Texans. Could be somebody watching down in Texas. I don't know. Jeremy says, as a Cowboys fan, you shouldn't be wearing a Texans shirt. LOL. Listen, you do you. I'll do me.
Well, you know what? He brings up a point, and I've seen you wearing Warriors garb, so, I don't know.
I don't know.
He brings up a good point.
Who cares? It's I know. To be honest, is this too much of a turd in the punch bowl if I say everybody that's all worried about the attendance for the CFL games? I see Amar Doman had to be quoted by 3downnation.com on the finances of the CFL. I don't care about the attendance. The games were great. They don't care about my finances. I don't care about theirs. I don't understand the fixation on it.
It is a topic worth discussing, and it's always been that way, and it's not just the changes that are happening in the CFL. I'm sorry for those of you in Calgary that want to blame this all on Stuart Johnston. Calgary had bad attendance when Randy Ambrosie was the commissioner. Calgary had bad attendance when Jeffrey Orange was the commissioner. Calgary had bad attendance once they started losing, which tells you a lot about Calgary fans. Does McMahon Stadium have an issue with this? Well, we used to go to Taylor Field all the time, and we didn't bitch and complain. We just went. And then a new stadium came, and we loved it. But some people still bitch about it for whatever reason.
Lack of water
point,
fountains.
You either got,
Remember
at
that
some
one?
point, Roddy, as the old phrase goes, you have to shit or get off the pot. And for the people in Calgary, it's time to figure that out. Because as you put down this morning, you'll go to a Flames game on a Monday night at exorbitantly high prices, but you won't go to a Stampeders game. And yeah, you're right, Calgary does a great job of marketing. They've got a halftime show at their next game. I'd love to see the Riders do something like that, but they never will. Dash is going to perform at Craven. Will they bring her out for a game? I doubt it.
Well, you're nailing it all.
Calgary, you got to figure it out.
Problem there, I don't know. You'd have to talk to more Calgarians than me. I mean, I've lived there. I went to college there, but I'm not a Calgary person. I don't know why they don't go to the games. Henry, when he was on here, was talking about his first stint with the Stamps and how they sold out every game. And you tend to forget that. I was like, oh, yeah, they were selling out every game in Calgary in the 90s, 35,000. That seems like 100 flipping years ago. And the one thing with the BC Lions, you mentioned Amar, which I'll be seeing him this weekend, Lions at Riders.
Is he coming to Regina?
Well, I feel like he's just great. Yeah, he is. I feel like they're just grabbing the CFL by the scruff of the neck and pulling them ahead. Amar is kicking and screaming because their team's now a Grey Cup favorite. You have them picked to go to the Grey Cup, do you not?
I do.
Right. They're going to lead the league in attendance, I would imagine. I believe Winnipeg did last year. not that the Bombers are doing anything bad. Nobody's complaining about Winnipeg. But Amar seems to be the guy that's leading the movement to the new CFL. I hope so. I certainly do. Any thoughts before I move on?
On what?
Anything that we've been talking about.
Not really. As I said, Stanley Cup's been great. NBA final tonight resumes. I didn't think the Knicks would be up 2-0, but some idiot's going to be in the crowd tonight, and we see what happens when he shows support to things. So I think the Spurs will win Game 3 and probably win the title. What else? The College World Series, the Super Regionals, fantastic baseball on the weekend. I watched a game between Mississippi State and Georgia on Saturday that was unreal for drama. College baseball, Canadians that don't get a chance to see Division I NCAA baseball are missing out. Because what a product it is. And I've gotten to watch it the last couple of years. I didn't realize how good it was. It's fantastic. And you know what? It's not Division I guys that are playing in the Western Canadian Baseball League. But you're seeing these kids playing for the Red Sox, Moose Jaw, Weyburn, Okotoks, et cetera, et cetera. It's good ball, man. It's really good ball.
Well, that's a nice little encapsulation at the end of it. By the way, I'll get to the rest of the viewer comments after Scruffy adjourns. This has gone by way too fast here today. But you mentioned the U.S. President Donald J. Trump going to Madison Square Garden tonight. It's different when you live in America. I got nothing bad to say about his administration or the administration before, because let's put it this way, it's gone very well for me in that country. It's gone very well for me. So, and you see it differently when you live there as opposed to being in Canada, and I thank God that I'm able to do both. But let's put it this way, the fact that he's going to the game tonight, and that's been the focus of the game, is all you need to know. Why he's doing it.
Yep.
Right? We know people like that.
And I think, Roddy, I don't know, but I've heard a lot of talk shows. I'm going to be very interested to see how ABC handles this tonight, because I think he's going to get his ass booed off by the fans in Madison Square Garden who don't want him there. They do not like him in New York. And I think that they're going to boo his ass off. Maybe he'll have another temper tantrum like he had yesterday.
But then we all got to watch. Is this good for the NBA or bad for the NBA? Oh, yeah, right. Producer Corey just said good TV. I mean, that's the other thing. The Celebrity Apprentice, all the things that he does. He draws eyeballs.
Yes, he does.
Wins elections, right? You can say what you want to say. By the way, speaking of elections, our poll question today for Country Thunder, I didn't even get to it yet. Who's going to win the Conn Smythe? I don't need to give you the options. Who are you voting for if you had to vote for the Conn Smythe Trophy?
Well, until Game 3, I have said that Brett Howden might be an outside candidate, but after what he did in Game 3, I don't know how you don't take Mitch Marner if they win the Cup. If it's Carolina, boy, I don't know who you take if it's Carolina. Probably
Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall's leading them in scoring, if that means anything to you. And he's been very good. But isn't that also interesting, by the way, that Taylor Hall was looked to be in Edmonton the guy, and he can't be the guy. Mitch Marner in Toronto was looked to be the guy, and he's not the guy in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah, I guess the only difference there, Rod, is that how many stops did Taylor Hall make before he got to Carolina? Like, Taylor Hall was overrated. There's maybe another guy you could put in that conversation.
But is he?
Because he was supposed to lead teams to a final.
But he's had a great playoff run. He's not getting the Conn Smythe anyways.
No, 100%. I don't think he is.
It's funny, the vote.
But that's the thing with Carolina, Rod. Like, they're down 2-1. If he has a great 3 games here, he could be the guy. Like, I don't think there is. Sebastian Aho could still win it.
You're right. And Jeff the Stamps fan says, how about Nikolai Ehlers? He's had a very good playoff too. It doesn't matter because I think Vegas is going to go on to win this thing, and Marner's going to win it. And then the question becomes, does he take the cup back to Toronto this summer? If I was him, I would.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
I would take it right by Scotiabank Arena. Me. Right in their face. Wait a minute. I've changed. I'm not that guy anymore. Sometimes I'm that guy. Okay, Scruffy. Enjoy the game tonight. Cheer loud.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Mitchell, Scruffy, Blair checking in. We'll be right back. 902-518-3033. The Western Dodge text line is open. Experience the Western Dodge difference. Local, reliable, and driven to find the perfect vehicle for you. We'll be live there Friday with a special guest. Tell you about it right after this.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show on a Monday, episode number 1752. I appreciate everybody bearing with us as we've gone through changes this spring. Everybody does. It just happens to be when you're on the stage, everybody sees those changes. But we got a bunch of new viewers here today, so I say welcome to you as we are streaming on the Game Plus YouTube channel now. As always, our channel, WQVZ Radio, la-di-da-di-da. Boy, we got some fun stuff coming in from the viewers here. And let's try to keep it fun as much as we can. Thank you, Jeremy, tuning in from Winnipeg. He says, I want to see Marner and Torts win a cup. Yeah, and add Carter Hart to that list for me. Scott in Vancouver on this Marner thing. He says it's way easier to play in markets that barely care that they have a team compared to playing in Canada. That is true. So you should go pat your Vancouver Canucks on the back for playing in Canada or any of those Canadian markets, because it is unbelievably difficult. But it's not just there. It's not just that. Some guys love playing in Canada, but this Dylan Larkin thing in Detroit, frankly, everybody's talking about that, and I'm getting a real bang out of that too. So everybody heard Dylan Larkin, the best Detroit Red Wing, perennial all-star, has asked for a trade. He's given the GM, Steve Yzerman, a list of 3 teams that he'll go to: Minnesota, Las Vegas, Florida. Do you notice those lists never have a Canadian team on it? And which, by the way, nobody's anti-Canada other than the taxes and the weather, because there's good teams in Canada. Winnipeg, Toronto, Edmonton, come to mind, Montreal. They're not anti-Canada. It's just the pressure is unbelievable. And if you have the chance to go somewhere else to play and make millions and not pay taxes, why wouldn't you do that? I think we all are rather shocked, however, that the Detroit Red Wings are now deemed by the best player not a place you want to be. And unless you've been paying attention to what's going on in Detroit, and Jeremy, you're a Wings fan, you've known before I even knew what was going on in Detroit how bad it is there. It's very hard to believe that any team under the tutelage of Steve Yzerman would have a bad culture. Like there's something going on there, and this ain't the Detroit Red Wings show. But just last week, because I'm in a hockey town, somebody said, I feel bad for Detroit. They're the perennial doormat the last 10 years. I said, yeah, they won 4 cups the 30 years before that. I don't feel bad for Detroit. Figure it out. I don't think these Canadian teams, and specifically some Canadian teams, can ever figure it out. And by the way, if you want to continue to point the finger at Mitch Marner and say that, why didn't you do that here? What you should do is celebrate him and look at yourself. That's what you need to do, but nobody's going to do that. 902-518-3033. People just love the negative talk. Scruffy really does. He does. I saw this list of the most overrated players. I didn't see that list because I don't go looking for negative crap. But now everybody's writing in with the most. We enough of that. Well, oh man, I meant to ask Mitch this. I'll have to ask this. I'll ask you because you're here. Wayne's question from Victoria, BC. He says, do you think either goalie could be in the running for the Conn Smythe? He says, I think Carter Hart for Vegas has a better chance, but I do think Marner will win it. To me, it's not about Carter Hart until Mitch was right, until Mitch Marner caught fire Saturday night. And he'd already had a great playoff. But to break a record that had been around for 69 years, breaking Maurice Richard's record for the fastest hat trick in a game. Nobody's ever scored 4 points in a period of a Stanley Cup playoff game until Saturday night. Mitch Marner did it. I mean, right, he's the lock. My question to you people is, do you think the NHL would allow Carter Hart to win based on all of what we know if he was voted the winner? But you know what? It won't matter, because if you followed who votes on it? The media. Oh, right. And how do they feel about Carter Hart? That's very evident. They're not going to vote for him anyway, so it don't matter. I just talked myself around to the answer. Thank you. Everybody's going off for good reason about these CFL mini helmets. And Scruffy initially said, how are you going to get those back to Florida? He thought they were regulation size. And as you're looking at it, put it closer to the camera, kind of looks regulation size. That's the beautiful thing about television. We were playing word association. Who's the first thing you think of? I'm Doug Flutie for Doug Flutie, all 3. Best player I ever saw in this league. But anyways, Vintage Sasko writes in, formerly Fake Gainer. He says, hi, Uncle Rodney and Maniac Mitch. Off track, but what's the coolest CFL-related merchandise y'all got? Well, you're looking at, I got a had, because I don't have it anymore. a garage sale. A garage full. We had a garage sale. It sold most of it. My daughters were like, do you want this? Do you want it? No. Sell it. It's all gone. But I do have had a gigantic oil painting of Old Taylor Field. That would be I commissioned Jason Robbins to paint it for me. It was like $3,500. It's not signed by anybody. That thing was beautiful. People would walk into our home and go, this thing was the size of the wall of Taylor Field, oil painting. The old place, obviously. That would be it. Kirk in Toronto writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, the good ship, Argonaut, same name, same colors for 153 years. Best color scheme in sports as far as I'm concerned. Double blue is my favorite color. I wear it just about every day. Blue glasses, blue clothes. Where are we at? We got plenty of time. Good. Brenton, Wellington, Florida writes in. He says, Vegas, Marner, Carolina, Taylor Hall. He's saying that will be. So if Vegas wins, it'll be Mitch Marner wins the Conn Smythe. If Carolina wins, it'll be Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall's had a great playoff. And it's a great debate to be had. I think that's why a lot of you come here, because you enjoy the debate we have here. All weekend, I fielded comments from NHL people bitching about what certain pundits are saying on radio and television covering the Stanley Cup final. And I'm like, guys, please stop. Please stop calling. What do you want me to do about it? One guy who was in Washington Washington, D.C., he's like, well, you're just really good to vent to. I said, I get tired of it after a while. Like, my God. Turn it off if you don't like what they're saying, if they don't make any sense. I feel like as we go to air in Nevada next hour, we could spend more time on the president going to Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. I mean, and I have that in my I just saw your comment, producer Corey. Should I read it about Sean Avery or should I not? Okay, so Scruffy brought up who's the most overrated player in the NHL. First name that popped into my head was Sean Avery. Because I don't think he was a real good player, and I don't think he was all that tough. I'm like, why is this? He's not scoring. Why is this guy all that? And producer Corey clearly agrees, because he goes, I'll take Sean Avery. But the sloppy seconds comment was funny, even if he got in hell for it. That was a where were you moment. I was when he said that. I was in Vancouver on a road trip with my room dog, Dan Plaster. We were on it, laying on our separate beds. He was my roommate on the road, and we watched TSN, and that sloppy seconds come out, and we're like, did he? Did he just say that? Thank you, Jeff, the Stamps fan, one of our P1's Priority One viewers, regarding Calgary Stampeders attendance. He goes, fact check, Calgary had the third best attendance while Jeffrey Orridge was the commissioner. I'll just preface that by saying, did you use ChatGPT for that? There's a lot of people jumping off the ChatGPT train. Have you noticed? They don't trust it. I'm just saying. John says, why is Trump doing this basketball game? What's his motivation? Utah Darren says his motivation is chaos, as usual. He said, same guy, Utah Darren, says he loves making messes. We now have a UFC fighting ring on the front lawn of the White House. He doesn't need to be at the NBA Finals. He just wants to make a mess of it. So that's why I'm very trepidatious about talking about any or all. I live 18 miles from Mar-a-Lago. Brent from Wellington lives well. What are you, Brent? You're like 8 miles from Mar-a-Lago. Trump's his neighbor. He's the most powerful man in the USA. So I sit in the world. So I sit back and watch all of this and see the people like Dana White cozying up to him, or the other Joe Rogan, the Florida Panthers. People get mad at that. But guess what? It's worked out pretty well for them. But as you see, and Brent knows the inside on this because he's one of my closest friends, The Biden administration, when I first went to America, the Trump administration now, they've all said, and I have the documentation to prove it. They're like, come on in. Come on in. I don't want to say more because I don't know where this is airing, but let's just say they've been very, very, very good to me. So I just sit back and watch. And I look at what some people are saying and go, how are you getting away with it? I would never say that, but maybe they're not worried. So Jeff, the Stamps fan, says he didn't use ChatGPT at all. He's going off his memory. Right. Producer Corey just said, sure. That's not, sorry, we can't trust that. Okay. Just pause for the cause regarding me wearing rival team gear. Jeff in Toronto says, where the hell is it? He says, I'll wear a shirt of any soccer team. That's weird. But as a Bills fan, I couldn't wear a Giants shirt. It's just a shirt, guys. It's just a shirt. Hour 2 coming up right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
I agree, Rick Regan, our big voice guy. How about that? Welcome, everybody, to a brand new week, a very fun show planned over the next hour on the RP shows. We welcome viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports and Entertainment. Very exciting day there as the A's are in town playing at the AAA Park on the way to being Vegas's MLB team. Yes, that's going on. I'm going to change things up. We've got new viewers as we stream now on the Game Plus YouTube channel. That was all the plan all the way along. They say, I don't know. I just sit here and talk. That's what I do. I yak it up on the old yak box. And I'm going to change things up in the quick six show topics here in the warm-up from what they were last hour. Just small. I'll tell you what. My big story, my number one point, has changed from an hour ago. It was the Stanley Cup final, and I know it's a very big deal, but frankly, outside of Vegas and Carolina, even in Canada, people are talking about Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, with them returning to Madison Square Garden tonight or switching to MSG for the first time in 27 years. And the president in attendance at the world's most famous arena, the Knicks and Spurs, will try to do the impossible, and that's keep their mind on the game tonight and pretend it's just Game 3. News of President Donald Trump's attendance has generated strong reactions from some politicians and pundits, but inside the Garden, as both teams prepared for Game 3 tonight, players emphasized the importance of remaining laser-focused and tuning out the noise. Let's play a fun little game. I will be watching tonight, and thank God I'm living in God's time zone out here in the West. The game is on at a normal good hour. I'll be able to watch a lot of Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. It's Trump's made it a spectacle. Would I have been watching before? Probably, but now I definitely will be. And I've been enjoying this. Now, the Knicks are New York's team. I'll say it again. We had some fun with this last. There's a lot of New York people watch this show. Would you argue that the Yankees are number 1, the Giants are number 2, the Mets are number 3 in normal years? The Knicks are probably number 4. Then the Rangers, then the Jets, and then the Islanders. And I don't think I'm forgetting anybody now. But the Knicks, that'll be next, the New York Trumps. The Knicks haven't been a thing until now, is my point. They haven't been in the finals since 99. They haven't won it since 73. I get it's a big story, big enough that that's what everybody's talking about. And a lot of the viewers were writing in earlier saying, why is this such a big deal for Trump to be there? Same thing. I get it. I totally get the mentality. He wanted to be the first sitting president to attend a Super Bowl, and he did that in New Orleans. Now the first sitting president to attend an NBA Finals. That's just the way that he rolls. So that's the big story, and it sure looks like the Knicks are going to roll to this championship. And, yeah, they'll be number 1 in the ladder in New York for a while, if and when they win this thing, but it's still a Yankees town. Okay, why a lot of you came here, because you tell us that we are Vegas's favorite hockey show. The Golden Knights and Hurricanes have combined to score 25 goals so far in the Stanley Cup final, the most through the first 3 games of a Cup final since 1981, and I'm just wringing my... Never said I was a betting expert. Nobody saw this coming. 2 defensive teams. That's how Carolina beat Montreal last round, was through defense, and largely that's Vegas' style, and their goalie Carter Hart is still having a Conn Smythe, which that's the MVP of the playoffs type season. But all these goals are being scored. And I mean, do I feel bad that Kenny Nagunst, our good friend from 806 Sports in Amarillo, Texas, has lost a lot of money on betting because I said it was going to be a low scoring? I've never said to listen to me for betting advice. That's why a lot of guys get out of the racket. It's a lot of pressure. I did pick Vegas to win the series, and I still think they will. But Saturday night, the Knights nearly suffered an historic collapse when the Canes erased a 4-0 third-period deficit, including 3 goals in 39 seconds to force overtime. But Vegas ultimately got the job done, winning 5-4 in double overtime to take a 2-1 series lead. And I will say, sponsor mentions, sponsor love. We are at Pump Jacks Cathedral. Ooh, I'm getting tingles just thinking about it. I met with the Dumbas, the Dumba twins from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family, and we really enjoyed the game. We really enjoyed the game a lot. Had my coconut shrimp that I've been telling everybody to have. It's just unbelievable. And we couldn't believe the game. I guess I should say this. Let me go before I go any further. The poll question is for our friends at Country Thunder. The biggest party this summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson, Creed, and the RP show. The poll question is, who's going to win the Conn Smythe Trophy? Which is a whole other thing. The options are Mitch Marner, who has set a Golden Knights record for playoff points, set an NHL record for the fastest hat trick in an NHL Stanley Cup playoff game, 6 minutes and 10 seconds. The record had stood for 69 years, set by Maurice Rocket Richard. Marner's doing historic things. He's going to win the Conn Smythe, but the other options are Taylor Hall of the Carolina Hurricanes and Carter Hart, the goalie of the Vegas Golden Knights, or other. And what's there's been a few people right in on the other. People have said Nikolai Ehlers. Before this series, our Hour 1 co-host Scruffy said Brett Howden of the Golden Knights. There's a lot of guys that have put up tremendous playoff performances, but right now Mitch Marner has been unbelievable out of all of them. And I understand that that is how sports talk rolls. They've been talking about this since the end of the second round. The pundits, the media, who's going to win the Conn Smythe. And I don't get into it because why are we talking about it now? There's still 2 more rounds to go. And as Mitch Marner is just taken off like a rocket, who really saw that coming? Which, by the way, AB has checked in. Arlen Bruce. AB, you would love NFL, CFL alum. I'll read your comment, and I'm going to pause the cause for a sec. Arlen Bruce writes in, 2-time Grey Cup winner, former Kansas City Chief and 49er. He says, FYI, Spike Lee and Donald Trump will not be courtside together, so don't look forward to that happening. If the Knicks lose, they'll blame Trump. If they win, they'll praise him. What a world we live in. Thanks, AB. Scary that you're getting me back on track with what I wanted to say. What I read this morning, and it's on the internet, so it has to be true. How much do you think a courtside ticket is going? I'm on the court here for free. How much do you think a courtside ticket is going for Game 3 of the NBA Finals? Everybody write in. And I have the price from what I read. It's actually in my sports update too, which I'll get to a little later. For Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, which New York leads 2-0. Now, let me pause this for 1 sec, AB. So I went to a garage sale, a yard sale on the weekend. And to my delight, they had a collection of CFL mini helmets. I said, I'll take them. And the guy, who's a friend of mine, Darian Engelhart, he is the equipment manager for the Orlando Solar Bears of the East Coast Hockey League. He goes, we're missing some. I said, I don't care. I'll take him anyways. I'll fill him in the other way. Edmonton, BC, Calgary, Winnipeg, Hamilton. So we did a little word association. Who's the first guy you think of when you hear this or see this helmet? It was a hell of a lot of fun. I said Doug Flutie for both these, Calgary and BC. And as my friend Mitchell said, could have been Doug Flutie for this too. So, AB, that was my find on the weekend from the garage sale. Oh, Ryan McCarthy from upstate New York. I was asking for you last week. He's written in here because I said, where's Ryan from upstate New York? Settle this. What's the pecking order of New York sports teams? He says, as a New Yorker, he says, number 1, Yankees. Number 2, Knicks. Number 3, Mets. 4, Giants. 5, Jets. 6, Rangers. 7, Brooklyn Nets. 8, Islanders. Because it was Kirk from Toronto that wrote, I didn't even mention the Islanders last week. He's like, you forgot the Islanders. No, I didn't. New York forgets the Islanders. As sad as that is, because they are a first-class organization. Went in there with the Panthers in March, and I couldn't believe how well I was treated. With regards to how much the courtside tickets are for tonight, Game 3 of the NBA Finals, Jeff, the Stamps fan, you're close. He says $85,000. The news report that I have here says $75,000 for one game. And I'll say this, where I come from, and I'm back around them all summer, family of farmers, very, very, very hard to believe the people that I grew up with, that anybody would even have the money to spend $75,000 on one basketball game ticket. They got the money. As my mom would say, people with more money than brains. 902-518-3033. Last I saw, Mitch Marner was leading the poll for who will win the Conn Smythe Trophy as the NHL playoff MVP. By the way, the warm-up is brought to you by our friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group, the preferred travel partner of the RP Show and the BC Lions. When it comes to sports, trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Normally, we would do the picks, which, by the way, I'm going to read this again because it's a big enough story. The NBA Finals is pushing its way into our purview because we're normally a hockey and football show, but Knicks fever has set the stage for Game 3 of the NBA Finals against the San Antonio Spurs to be a must-see event inside MSG and out on the streets and in bars across New York City. With the Knicks in the finals for the first time since '99 and leading the series 2-0, this is their first home game of the series. It's a hot ticket. The get-in price exceeds the average cost of rent in the biggest U.S. city. As of Sunday night, the cheapest upper deck seats available were going for over $6,000 on secondary markets like StubHub, SeatGeek, and Vivid Seats. The experience of being courtside going for more than $75,000. And so I'm going to spare you doing an NBA Finals pick for tonight because it would literally be burning your money. But if we did, I don't mind doing the hockey picks. We've been pretty good on that. And football. And our picks, when we do them, are brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, and Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. But I think we're good with Pump Jack's because I was there the other night, Pump Jack's Cathedral with the Dumbo Boys, as I said, watching Game 3 of the Stanley Cup final. No NBA picks tonight. You're welcome. We'll save until tomorrow for the day of Game 4 of the Stanley Cup final, who we think is going to win that one. But there are many who think that Carolina won't win another game, that their back was broken with a double overtime loss in Game 3. But we'll see. But again, that's pundits, that's opinion. That's why we have to watch the games. We get so awash, unfortunately, in people's opinions. I'll say it again. See you, Thomas. That's my favorite Moose Jaw Miller Express. Don't tell the other players. Four-man shortstop Thomas Soto from Round Rock, Texas. Plays at the University of Texas at Dallas and set a league record last year for runs scored. Thomas Soto, he's my favorite. In the team photo, we had our arm around each other, so I think everybody knows. While we're at it, 0.5 as we go off-roading here. Yohendrick Penango led off the sixth with a solo homer to ignite a 5-run inning, and Louis Varland continued his dominance with a 4-out save as the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Baltimore Orioles 6-4 on Sunday. The Jays sent 9 batters to the plate in the sixth inning, with a decisive blow being an infield hit from Nathan Lucas that was deflected between first and second base by Baltimore reliever Yenier Cano, scoring Andres Jimenez for the go-ahead run with 2 out. As I put in my column today, which you can go read at rodpeterson.com for free, no paywall there for now. I've had a far busier summer than I thought that I would, but that's good. That's what I like, and that's also, more importantly, what I need. There just hasn't been a whole lot of time for Blue Jays watching. But I'm following it because all of my friends are. Growing up in Canada, sports guy, yeah, all my friends are going to be watching the Blue Jays. I'm following them through my friends, and it's up and down, up and down. But Sunday was a good one. Coming up next, our good friend Jock Wilson from QR Calgary I don't know. Is Jocko in yet? Producer Corey? How about this fine Jocko? CFL mini. I'm going to play word association with Jock when we come back, because I did it with Scruffy last hour. Who's the first person you think of when you see this? Oh, it was a fun game. Our guest segment's brought to you by Prairie Panels. Building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca or call 306-985-0050. Yeah, we'll be talking Stanley Cup Finals, all the NHL news, CFL Week 1, look ahead to Week 2. Anything else you all would like to talk about? Jock hosts a sports show every night on QR Calgary, so he's averse in all of the topics. And speaking of that guest spot for Prairie Panels, it's going to be a fun week. We got the Hall of Famer Ray Elgard coming up live from Las Vegas on Tuesday in the guest spot. We've got Tim Hunter, Stanley Cup champion, Canucks, Flames, Sharks, and Nordique alum on Wednesday. It's going to be a real big week here on the RP Show. And we'll be right back on Silver State Sports.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This show's going away. I didn't expect that it would today, but it is what it is. Kirk in Toronto writes in Western Dodge text line. He says, "Hi, Rod. Kirk from Toronto here. Everybody with Trump derangement syndrome needs to chill out. Trump is from New York and witnessed terrible Knicks teams since 1973. Jock Wilson, QR Calgary with us. NBA Finals wasn't even on my radar, frankly. And I don't know if it is for you, but the president's making Game 3 tonight a pretty big deal, huh?"
Yeah, I tell you what, the NBA final is exciting. I hope we don't see a sweep, but I'm still disappointed that SGA didn't make it back. So we'll see. We'll see.
He's talking about SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, look, Jocko, you've been doing sports talk on that specific radio station in that time slot for how long in Calgary, and how much NBA have you talked in that time slot? Come on.
Well, listen, I'm an old timer, Rod. As you know, I've been in this business for over 40 years, and did the Flames broadcast for a number of years. Started off in rock and roll radio back in the day where radio stations used to have sports guys. Now radio stations don't have sports guys anymore. It's a changing game. But no, I've been at QR now for over 20 years. This is my 20th season with the Calgary Stampeders. I'm going, wow. I got time for me to retire. I'm getting old, man.
Well, again, I've listened to you for a long time. I've never heard a lot of NBA talk on there, but I do hear a lot of hockey talk. So I know you're following this. Yes, the Stanley Cup final. And what are your thoughts? Man, it's been a roller coaster, huh?
Well, first of all, I like everybody, I was stunned that the Vegas Golden Knights beat the Colorado Avalanche in 4 games. Like, who saw that coming? Nobody in their right mind, saw that coming. I don't care if Cale Makar was a little bit banged up. I don't care if Nathan McKinnon was a little bit banged up. That was such a deep, strong team. And the way the Vegas Golden Knights came in and completely dominated that series. And I get it. When Bruce Cassidy was fired, it wasn't on Bruce Cassidy. He just had crappy goaltending. Like, Carter Hart was injured. The team was going nowhere. They couldn't stop a puck. And then all of a sudden, Carter Hart gets hot. Carter Hart, has been really, really good. Not going to win the Conn Smythe because that's going to be Mitch Marner. But this team has been on fire. And hey, we saw the Pacific Division. We lived through the Pacific Division this year. It was the pillow fight in the Pacific Division. There were a lot of teams that were really, really average, and you can throw the Oilers in that mix. You can throw Vegas in that mix. Obviously the Calgary Flames in that mix. It wasn't a very good division, but it just goes to show in hockey, you get healthy, you get hot at the right time, and you can go on a roll. The Calgary Flames did it in 2004. Didn't win the championship, but it was a hell of a run by the team. So I give Vegas all the credit in the world. And yet, heading into this series, if you would have asked me straight up, Carolina has been a player. Carolina has been a factor the last couple of seasons. I really thought this was going to be their year. And if you ask me now, I don't think it's going to be their year. I think the Vegas Golden Knights are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Did you have a pre-series pick?
Well, yeah, the pre-series pick. I have my NHL insider, Craig Button. And Craig Button from TSN, he does a great job, and I have him twice a week on Sports Talk with Jock. So we broke it down, and he basically said, Jock, I'm taking Carolina in 6. I would love to see, Carolina win in Vegas, and Alex Ovechkin sort of set the tone by partying, in the fountains with the Stanley Cup, and he said, I'd like to see that again. And I'm going, tough to argue that point, but I'll play devil's advocate, and I'll take the Vegas Golden Knights. So not that I was smart or had any great insight. I just played devil's advocate with Craig Button, so I took the Carolina Hurricanes. Sorry,
okay. Well, I took Vegas in 6, and it might not even go that long. But before we switch gears to football, just please give me your take on the Marner-Toronto thing. I mean, I just saw a clip this morning, Kelly McCrimmon saying at some point Toronto needs to get over this, that he left. I mean, to me, I'm like, Toronto, look at yourselves. He's flourishing somewhere else, and you're still chasing your tail. When are you going to realize you're the problem? That's my read.
Well, hey, Mitch Marner is a great player. That's not debatable. And the fact of the matter is the Toronto Maple Leafs went with the core 4 for how many years? How many general managers thought the core 4 would get it done? The Toronto Maple Leafs, like I love John Tavares as a player. Don't get me wrong. He's been a veteran player. He's been a stalwart in the community. He's, he got pictures of him wearing the Toronto Maple Leaf pajamas when he was a kid. But the fact of the matter is, Mitch Marner, if you looked at the core 4, That's the guy you should have been keeping. That's the guy that had the skill. And, no disrespect to Nylander. I know Austin Matthews is a hell of a player too, but I think the Leafs are realizing what kind of player they let walk away there. And I will say this about the Vegas Golden Knights, and with Kelly McCrimmon. Damn, that is a bold organization. They make some bold moves. Firing Bruce Cassidy was a bold move. Making the move with the Calgary Flames, acquiring Rasmus Anderson when Rasmus didn't want to sign long term, but they still took the chance. And if Vegas wins a Stanley Cup, Calgary gets a first round draft pick in that deal. So they got Zach Whitecloud as well. So those Flames fans are cheering for the Vegas Golden Knights because they want that second to turn into a first. And I will just say this, and you look at the makeup of that team. Everybody says, oh, you got to build through the draft. And Rod, you know hockey really, really well. Vegas Golden Knights don't build through the draft. The Vegas Golden Knights just go out and make bold moves, whether it's Jack Eichel, whether it's Rasmus Anderson, Noah Hannafin, Chase Theodore, Mark Stone, Jack Eichel. Pick your poison. Mitch Marner. That team is built through bold moves. So you can hate on the Vegas Golden Knights, but you got to respect what Kelly McCrimmon does.
Of late, Tampa and Florida have not built through picks either. So they're kind of changing how this is done. By the way, I think that we're airing in Vegas every night, prime time at 9 p.m. So when you say there's a lot of people cheering for Vegas, a lot of our viewers are cheering for Vegas, and the viewers are writing. I got to turn it over to the viewers. But don't forget, I said we're still going to play this word association game. It's going to be fun with you. But John writes in and says, can you ask Jock, do you think Vegas will ever let Edmonton speak to Bruce Cassidy?
The short answer is yes. I do believe, let the playoffs play out how they are. And then I think obviously cooler heads will prevail. And I have no problem with what the Vegas Golden Knights are doing at this point, because their focus should be on one thing, and that is the Stanley Cup. Bruce Cassidy is a hell of a coach. Bruce Cassidy is going to coach again in the National Hockey League. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's with the Edmonton Oilers. So I think after the playoffs are over, after cooler heads prevail, that I would be surprised if they don't.
And Bruce will be coaching the Oilers next year. Write it down. That's what I'm saying. So get ready. You're going to like this one, Jock. Vancouver Eric writes in. He says, how is it that sports radio survives in Calgary but died in Vancouver? Why? Because this guy's great, and the listeners love him. That's why. You can't even name who these guys are in Vancouver. Anyway, that's mine. That's my answer. What's yours, Jock?
Well, Rod, it's an interesting question because we have an all sports radio station here in Calgary. I'm not part of it, but the Fan 960, they do a great job, and obviously it's Flames talk all the time. That's that's how they position it, and we get it. We're a hockey country, everything from that standpoint. I work for a news talk station where sports really is secondary. I used to do sportscasts in the afternoon. I don't even do that anymore. I just talk politics. I talk whatever is on my mind, that kind of stuff. And then I have a sports talk show. And it's funny because when they hired me way back in the day, I was doing 2.5 hours at night. Then it got cut to 2 hours. Then it got cut to 90 minutes. Now I just do a 1 hour sports talk show. And the only reason I do a 1 hour sports talk show is because we got the Calgary Stampeder football broadcast. So we got to tie in all of our partnerships, whether it's the coaches show. I've got Dave Dickinson coming on my show tonight. I've got, obviously the CFL Insider with Glenn Suter. We talk a lot of football. So I get where I stand in the sports market. I referenced earlier, I got into this business 40 plus years ago. Every single radio station, and we had like 17 radio stations. Everybody had a sports guy. You did morning sports, you did afternoon sports. You didn't even have all sports radio stations in the day, but everybody had a sports guy. Now, if you have a 24-hour sports station, you're happy. And most other radio stations don't do any sports.
Well, the guy asked, why is it worked in Calgary? And when he said that, I'm not just thinking Fan 960. I'm thinking your show survived. His is that station survived. So, hey, it's been great for this show. Let's put it that way. What's happened because people are coming here. Yeah. Okay, so the fun thing that I told you, I hit a garage sale on Saturday. Hang on, Jock. Let's go. Let's have fun with this. I hit a garage sale on Saturday. CFL mini helmets. Of course, the Rider one's missing. The Rider, they're keeping that. But I got the rest, almost the rest. So when I show you this logo and helmet, you tell me the first name that pops into your head. Will you do that with me?
I got to put my glasses on, but okay. Oh,
Winnipeg. You're not that blind, Jock.
Zach Collaros.
This logo?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
You know what? If you're talking logos back in the day, different logo. I see what you're saying. Okay, I just saw Winnipeg.
Yeah, no.
I can't see it the way that the screen was set up. I can't see that one. Oh, that's Winnipeg. Yeah, that's the old logo.
Oh, I'm okay. I'll put him closer to the camera. I said Dave Ritchie.
I'm getting old. I can't see without my glasses anymore.
Okay,
man. What era is that logo? I don't even know.
Early 2000s.
That's
so
early
some had
2000s,
said Milt Stiegel. Yeah. How about this one? Do I need to shine it up for you?
Well, it's funny because I got two boxes on my screen, and I got me a double screen here and you a little bit, but I see the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I could see the Tiger Cats logo, and if you're talking to where did you find, like, where are you right now for a garage sale? Like you're all over the place. I don't even know.
I was in Regina. You
were in Regina. Okay, so you got these 2000 circa helmets in a. How much did you pay for them?
$130 for the whole set. That's minus Saskatchewan, Ottawa, and Montreal. Of course, it's not a complete set. I got to go out and find.
You paid $130?
That was a good deal as far as I was concerned.
In a garage sale?
Can you see this one, Jock?
Yeah, I can see that one. I can
Who
see
do you
that
think
one. That's old school. That's the Double E. That's the Edmonton Elks. And hey, are they going to be a playoff team this year, Rod?
Who's the player that you think of when you see this?
You see, I don't like those kind of games because my focus is on 2026. I don't like to live in the past. So if you're asking me 2026 Edmonton Elks, obviously I'm thinking Justin Rankin. But if you're thinking 2000 Edmonton Elks, Christ, I don't even remember what I was doing in 2000.
Well, mine was the Giz. Mine's the Giz.
Can
I just give you one more helmet, and then we'll stop the game?
You know where I'm going to go with it, but okay. The Calgary Stampeders, 2000. Oh my God, what's the first player that comes to mind in 2000?
Well, this
funny,
this logo hasn't changed since
just
the
recognized. 60s. They just on the home opener on Friday night, they recognized the 2001 Grey Cup champions. That was that miraculous team that won only 8 games during the regular season. And of course, the Calgary Stampeders shouldn't have been in the Grey Cup game, but they got hot at the right time because of Marcus Crandell. Mark Bolrichter was here at the stadium.
Oh.
Wally Buono was here at the stadium. So this one I will answer just because they were here in Calgary on the weekend. Mark Bolrichter comes to mind.
Nice. Number 8. No, Danielson was 88. Bolrichter was 89. Right?
Right. Yeah.
They were a murder to broadcast those games because they looked identical on the field.
Yeah.
Murder to cover.
It's kind of fitting with the 25th anniversary. Man, we're getting old when we're talking 25th anniversary now.
Oh, did that just dawn on you, Jock? I think of it every day. Kim writes in. She said, I believe Kim is in Calgary. She says, Rod, please ask Jock why he thinks Calgary fans aren't going to Stampeders games. We all saw Friday night.
Yeah. Wow. I wish I was so smart I could figure out the answer to that question, but I am not smart enough. It wasn't a great night for football because the wind came up. It was cold, but it's the home opener. It's the season opener, the excitement. You got a Grey Cup being played here in Calgary this year. And I really, really thought, I was led to believe that the Stampeders were well over the 20,000 mark in season tickets because of the Grey Cup game. So to see under 18,000 announced at that football game, it was really disappointing. Now, again, I talked a little bit about this on our post-game show. I think there's a couple of factors. The Stampeders have not won a playoff game since they won the Grey Cup in 2018. So winning does matter. And I think you see that with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And number 2 is McMahon Stadium is past its best before date. People in this day and age, if you're paying good money to go to a football game, you don't want to be crammed in the concourses. You don't want to, go to a urinal that is, back from the 1960 eras, unless maybe you're at Wrigley Field or something to that effect. It's just, that's not the fan experience you want. McMahon Stadium is located in a great place. It's got great sight lines, but it's past its best before date, Rod. So I don't know what the solution is going to be here in Calgary, but hey, they put new turf in this building last year. it's got to be the last time new turf goes into this building because it's time for a new building. But I don't know who's going to pay for it. I don't know how it's going to happen. It's a challenge for sure.
It's interesting when you bring up the winning thing because I think that is a huge part of it. And it's funny because we had the New York viewer, Ryan, write in. I said, what's the pecking order of New York sports? And he said, right now, what'd you say? He said Yankees, Giants, Knicks, blah, 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 but it depends who's winning. And right. I'm like, oh, okay, because in Calgary, I think it floats in different markets. Like in Calgary, it's always the Flames. Flames. You're sitting talking about Dumpy Stadium while they're going to build the world's greatest hockey rink downtown. It's not hard to figure out, right?
Well, I was hosting the Calgary Flames broadcast back in the 90s, during the young gun eras. And the young gun era, the fans weren't buying it. The Calgary Flames were not a good hockey club. And, being the rights holders, we had lots of tickets to give away. You couldn't even give tickets away to the Flames games because people would rather stay at home and watch an episode of Seinfeld or Friends or, people just, it wasn't the place to be. And right now, McMahon Stadium is not the place to be because the building just doesn't invite you in there to, hey, let's bring your friends, let's have a party, let's do something about it. So I do think that's a challenge. Hey, the Calgary Flames get competitive, and yes, they will pack the building. They get the new event center for 2027, they'll have it packed. But if they don't win in 4 years and aren't a competitive team, then when you're paying the kind of money you are for a ticket, maybe fans won't be flocking to the building. So a new building does have a short shelf life as far as attracting the fans.
Oh yeah,
it becomes the hip place for sure.
Look at the brand new stadium in Saskatchewan that's half empty half the time. I thought that thing would be filled for 10 years, and it hadn't.
Exactly.
It wasn't even filled for 1 year.
That's a great point. And hey, Saskatchewan won last year. They won a championship. So you hope you have the residual of the effects of winning, and we'll see what happens this year because that was a good team. But are they going to be a good team this year? We're going to find out.
90 seconds are telling us, I guess, got to ask if the World Cup is on your radar at all or for your listeners.
Well, sure it is. And, why not? Canada should finally win a game in the group play, which would be exciting. And if they could get out of the group play into the second round, it would be really, really exciting for this city. I'm a little disappointed, how FIFA has basically gouged the host cities and the amount of money it's costing. And, I tried to book a hotel room in Vancouver last week. I couldn't get anything for under $900 a night. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay that kind of money, to go to Vancouver on a FIFA weekend. So I don't like the gouging with it, but I do think it's a great event, and it's going to be fun to see, Canada play.
Well, I wouldn't have been because I'm kind of happy sitting in my hockey football bubble and at times baseball. But you're going to see, Jock, if you follow what we do, a betting company's come to me and said, would you be interested in hosting a live stream? We'll pay you for a World Cup game. I'm like, money talks.
We'll pay you. I like that.
Right. I'm like, okay, you realize who you're talking to, right? Okay, yeah, sure. So Canada, Qatar, be ready to be watching for details on that. Jock, always fun talking sports with you. Have a great summer. Hope to bump into you.
Hey, you take care. Sorry I didn't play your word association game very well.
I should have warned you. I should have warned you. The great Jock Wilson from QRK. It's all good. It's all good. We enjoyed the chat. We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover right after this. It's the RP Show in Silver State Sports.
For a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now.
The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Sask Tigs.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show, and somebody wrote in and asked, not only why am I wearing a Houston Texans quarter zip, but why am I not wearing a Golden Knights hoodie in the middle of the Stanley Cup Final? Because I only wear them on game days here on Silver State Sports and all the other platforms that we're on. And actually, when the Golden Knights lost Game 2, it was the first day that they lost since I've been wearing that thing. Anyways, speaking of Stanley Cup Final, the daily poll is for Country Thunder. The biggest party this summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson and Creed. Get your tickets now at countrythunder.com/SK. Just $20 down secures your weekend pass. And yeah, it's a big outdoor country music festival that draws about 35,000 to 40,000 people. Big fun. And the poll question is, who is going to win the Conn Smythe Trophy as the MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs? We don't have Jason here for what? Oh, I know why, because he's in Vegas. We should have him reporting live. He usually updates us on the poll results, what they're saying on YouTube. But Mitch Marner's leading it. I don't think at this point there's really any way that he could lose it, unless somebody just takes off like Mitch Marner's been playing. I will say this, as annoying as social media is, there's some fun stuff going around. Like the back of Marner's jersey that says Gretzky, and the text that says who Mitch Marner really is when he's not playing in front of a toxic environment. I don't, for the life of me, understand how Toronto, the Leafs, Leaf fans, Leaf media can't figure out that they're the problem. At the very least, some are saying they're happy for the kid. But as a guy that has had a messy split with your former team, it's sad that Mitch is going through this. Just go win the Stanley Cup, figure it out later. It's going to be very tough for him to go back to his hometown after the way that it's going there. And I guess everybody's sitting there waiting because we all know the story, right? Mitch Marner said that he's had Had some dark times in hockey, so this feels great. Well, of course, what's he talking about? And Marner at the outset of this Stanley Cup final says, I'll address that if we win. Oh, great. So, in a way, he hasn't really helped his cause. But from the audience on our word association game, Jeff the Stamps fan says, why is Jock avoiding the question? Has his own reasons. That's all I will say to that. It's over. Let's move on. Don writes in. He says, young fans want to socialize first and watch football second. That's the one thing that everybody is trying to figure out in sports these days is, well, the arenas and stadiums that aren't full. Let's put it that way. Because I'll be honest, as we sit here on the air in Vegas, living 9 months in Florida, and spending the summers in Canada, it's really sad what Jock was just talking about, this dilapidated old football stadium in Calgary. I broadcast in a 100-year-old baseball stadium where the bathrooms should be condemned. And it's frankly just the difference between America and Canada. In America, they take the sports far, far, far more seriously. We don't need to get into that debate, but anybody that gets to go to sporting events in Vegas understands how lucky that they have it. I'll say this one time, John, and then I'm dropping it. John from Edmonton writes in, and he says, both Edmonton and Calgary have attendance issues in the CFL. As I probably answered 97 times this weekend to my friends texting me during these games, NMP. Do you know what that means? NMP? Not my problem. Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, says, looks like Dylan Larkin's list of teams are Vegas, Florida, and the Wild that he would wave to. We addressed this earlier. I thought you were around, Jeremy, when we did. But it's interesting how my mental health recovery coaching career interweaves with sports. We're all sitting there going, because we're not in Detroit. We're all sitting there going, it's Detroit. 4 Stanley Cups in the last 30 years. But haven't made the playoffs in like 12 or whatever it is. They got a huge, huge culture problem there. And the point is, how did we get there? Maybe it doesn't even really matter. The point is, they're there, is my point. How did you get in this mess? It doesn't really matter. We need to get you out of this. And you're going to do it without Dylan Larkin because he wants out, your best player. So he's going somewhere. It's fascinating to question as to who. We'll be right back with Overtime after this.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, overtime is always fun. It's brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. I just smiled because I think of Randy, who runs that place with his beautiful wife, Michelle, and I'm looking forward to seeing them this summer. Always stopping in at Overtime Hockey Lanes when I'm in Calgary. You can too. You should as well, especially if you're on a Southern Alberta holiday. So many people that can't get there wish they had it. You got the opportunity. Go stop in and see where skill and fun collide. An amusement park for hockey players. That's what it is. 28th Street, Northeast, Calgary. I'll get to these great comments from the viewers in a second. We got a lot of fun things coming up. I thought I was going to be going to Calgary in a couple weeks. Still may be going to Calgary in a couple weeks. Not sure. It's a moving target. I wish it wasn't, but it is. Who is it that wrote in here and said $900 for a hotel room in Vancouver during World Cup? Bro. I'm going out to Vancouver for a variety of reasons in August, one of which is to go to a BC Lions game with a personal invite from the owner, Amar Doman, and I feel like going, get a spare room too, Amar? Or do you have a hotel with a CFL rate? Honestly, when the Golden Knights invited me out there, they had a team hotel. I mean, it wasn't free, but they at least had a rate. I'm sure the Lions do. It was the Palms, by the way, and we had a great time in Vegas. Thank you, Golden Knights. People wonder why I pull for them. Come on. Oh, so there's that. But this week's going to be fun. I told you, Hall of Famer Ray Elgard live from Vegas tomorrow. Hall of Fame tight end. Vegas at one time a Golden Knights season ticket holder. I'm not sure whether he still is, but it'll be a fun chat. Tim Hunter, Stanley Cup champion Wednesday. Friday, we will be live from Western Dodge. Don't worry, producer Corey won't change anything for you. We've done now multiple shows out of there. Western Dodge, our text line sponsor, 902-518-3033. Funny how the universe works. Our good friend Dan Rashovich will be with us. Former Oakland Raider, which I didn't even realize until a couple of years ago that Raz had played for the Raiders. Works pretty good for Silver State Sports, right? Also a Hall of Famer in the Canadian Football League. So as we get ready for this big home game weekend, I didn't get a whole lot into week 2 in the Canadian Football League because we got a whole week to do that. But Saturday night, the BC Lions are going to be here. We'll tee up the game, but we'll tell some old-time Raiders stories because Raz is a really good friend of mine. Sent me a photo of him sacking Doug Flutie back in the day that he's particularly proud of. And also, I know his Raiders stories, but they'll be new to our Vegas audience. So that'll be fun. Dan Rashovich will be with us. Talking about being out on the field with Al Davis. There's not a lot of teams. Well, There are some teams, but not a lot of teams, where the owner is out on the field. But I think Al Davis was also the general manager as well. Scott in Vancouver writes, and he says, what is the reason Dylan Larkin wants out of Detroit? I think he just wants to win. Not sure it's necessarily the Detroit market. At one time, the Rangers were also a destination of choice. Number one, he doesn't necessarily need a reason. He just wants out. I think we all know why Myles Garrett wanted out of Cleveland. You knew he never was going to win there. Dylan Larkin, I would think, we talked about this last week when Lou Gamelin was on, which was the very day that the news broke that Larkin wanted out. Just after we went off the air, that news came out, and Lou was like, dang, would have been nice if it happened while we're on the air. And I'm like, that's show business. He doesn't need a reason. He wants out. Your wife comes home and says, I'm not happy. What are you going to do? She already made her decision. Dylan Larkin's already made his decision. Try and get as much as you can for him. Thank you, Shane. Yeah, this ain't even a contest. The poll question for Country Thunder. Who will win the Conn Smythe Trophy as NHL playoff MVP? Mitch Marner, 72% of the vote from you people. Country Thunder poll. Cutter Hot, 13%. Taylor Hall, 6%, and 9% other. Jock Wilson was right when he came on. Jock knows his hockey. Like, nobody outside the Nevada area code, Las Vegas area code, thought the Golden Knights were going to pull this off. He was talking about the Colorado series, how they just whitewashed the floor with the Avalanche. Nobody saw that. I bring this up because with our poll, if you remember, we have the numbers going into the playoffs. Going into the Final Four, the conference finals, the Golden Knights were a distant fourth in our poll who was going to win the Stanley Cup of the Final Four. And now they're 2 wins away. They're the closest team to winning the Stanley Cup. And I'm just pleased as punch that I stuck with them. Dylan didn't bail on him. We had some Vegas people on here who did. And I'm going to respect them by not going back and posting their cold takes, because trust me, I've had my cold takes, just not with regards to the Golden Knights. But what I love about the Golden Knights, and I know this enough, they are a family-run operation. The general manager, Kelly McCrimmon, his family's liking my posts. It's like, because I'm supporting them. Always was gonna. And I'm just saying, go finish it off. If there's one thing I don't need to worry about, is a Kelly McCrimmon team, whether it's going to be there in the end. You're just all learning it now, too. Ken in Mississauga writes, and he says, the Al Davis persona, would that work today? I don't know. Yeah, I do think it would. And you drop that now with 50 seconds to go. I could talk about that forever. You want, they won with Al Davis. You want an owner that just, the confidence rolls off them. And Bill Foley's that. Vincent Viola in Florida is that. And there's other owners that don't have that and just say, does Mark Davis just reek of winning? I don't think so. The guy can't get a decent haircut, let alone win. Give me good about winning. Yeah, I asked for comments in the final, you're right, in the final segment, then we run out of time. We'll do it all tomorrow with Scruffy and Harley 81 Railguard.
That